sa isang tinatawag na community quarantine.
Community quarantine is hereby imposed in the entire of Metro Manila.
On December 30, 2019, the World Health Organization formally proclaimed COVID-19 a global health emergency. For a brief period, the world experienced a range of emotions. Some people laughed, some people sobbed, and the majority kept quiet. Poverty has impacted significantly as a result of the COVID pandemic, particularly in the Philippines. Businesses and their employees are in ruins as a result of the lockdown that was put in place to halt the spread of the infected. And the government assistance and contribution to the business sector was greatly lacking.
Hi, I am IBC Alcala. I am connected with Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation. I am assigned here in Davao, Casino Filipino Davao branch. I am an office personnel handling the manpower, schedule, and distribution of gaming and operations division.
First question. What were the struggles that you faced during the lockdown?
The struggles that I faced during the lockdown, first, emotional struggle is the fear of catching up the virus. Second, financial struggle, the fear of losing employment.
What are the effects of the lockdown to your company?
Pagcor is a government-owned and controlled corporation. It is a regulator and operator of casinos in the Philippines. Our company is categorized as tourism, leisure, and entertainment business industry. So, under tourism industry, it is a non-essential industry during the pandemic. We were closed for the most part when the enhanced community quarantine was being implemented. And the branch here in Davao was closed for 2 years and 3 months. It was given clearance to operate only last June 2022.
What was your salary range before and after the pandemic?
As a government worker, we still receive the same salary. It did not change. We continue to receive the same salary. But it was the tips and gratuities that we were not able to receive during the entire closure.
How did it affect your family? What were the significant changes in your lifestyle and expenditures?
Financially, it affected us, and we have to adapt certain measures to cope up with the losses.
How did your company help its employees?
I am grateful to Pagcor because there was no manpower retrenchment, and all employees continue to receive their salary during the lockdown.
What is your principle or mindset to keep yourself going?
I always thought that everything comes for a reason. So this too shall pass, and then there's light at the end of the tunnel.
People in the Philippines cannot work because they are prohibited from leaving their houses. And as a result, they cannot earn an income or their earnings are reduced, which makes them poor. The government also lacks assistance, such as ayuda, and a solution for this issue. It ultimately had a negative impact on the business sector, which in turn affected other sectors, including the household sector. This resulted in an increase in the unemployment rate, with the highest being recorded at 17.7% last 2020, as well as a lower salary for 40% of working Filipinos.
Why did the pandemic hit the poorest of the poor so hard?
When a crisis like this hits an unequal society like the Philippines, it's like amplifying the inequality and the social divide. So the poor are bearing the brunt of unequal distribution of the impacts of this crisis.
The government prioritizes and concentrates on assisting the nation's health sector, allocating the majority of its resources to the construction of facilities and the purchase of PPEs, leaving the business and household sectors with little support, which contributes to the significant rise in poverty in the nation. The government provided ayuda and cash assistance to the household sector. However, as previously stated, it was inadequate and insufficient to assist everyone. Not only was the support poor, but it wasn't given to the people who needed it the most. Additionally, there were instances of distribution corruption during the pandemic. A crisis like this in the future will undoubtedly devastate the Philippines, just like the COVID-19 pandemic did, demonstrating how inadequately the government responded to the pandemic.
What is the most challenging and hardest part of being a worker during the pandemic?
The hardest part is that when you are used to working and then you become suddenly idle because you are stuck in the house because of lockdown. You cannot go out and you cannot work because the industry you are into is a non-essential industry.
What other alternative sources of income did you or your colleagues that you know of find during the lockdown?
For me, I ventured into baking. I baked and I sell banana loaves, cheesecakes, and sushi bake, which is trending during the time of pandemic. And then my other colleagues ventured into small businesses, also selling cooked foods, cakes, and glass, and others.
What are the things to keep in mind, especially when you're trying to get through a challenge as hard as this?
Be optimistic, positive thinking always, that this too shall pass.
What can workplaces and companies do to better support workers during this time?
A strong support system through constant communication. Connectivity played a big role.
What recommendations or suggestions can you offer to other workers that are also struggling with the pandemic?
My recommendation is prayer is the best weapon. God is the answer of all things.
Fundraising, charity, and donations by private sectors were a huge relief for the Filipinos and the Filipinos who needed them, and they were present almost everywhere in the nation. Devastated and no hope left, a new hope was presented to the whole world. 10 vaccines are tested for safety and as authority to be used by Filipinos. But still, the distribution by the government was still poor as controversies was present. Slowly, the Philippines and the Filipino people are able to gradually return to their normal life as a result of the vaccine, which includes getting their employment back and fewer constraints. It has the greatest influence of all of them. Slowly but surely, the rate of poverty is decreasing.